popcorn. We are two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Media popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. What's up, little biscuits? So dry tomatoes. It's your boy Eddie Collins.
Guys, and this is Justin Brown.
And we are Media and Popcorn. But you already knew that because you pushed play and you saw the title. You were like, hey, that's what I'm going to listen to right now. And we're doing a special episode because we're doing our South by Southwest recap. And this is the first film festival where the whole crew was there.
Ooh, doggy.
Woo, 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 woo.
I was going to go, ooh-wee, and then you said doggy, and for some reason I followed.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
Sweet Lord. And folks, as of course you can hear the voice of the illustrious Tatiana.
Hello, hello.
And then also we had our producer Lluvia there on set with us.
Hey.
We all were at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, having some barbecue, having some laughs, and watching some movies, some good.
Whataburger.
Some Whataburger.
Yeah, I had a late ass Whataburger. It was cold, but it's okay because I was out. I was out on those streets.
Mm-hmm.
Justin and I probably bonded more than anybody else on this trip.
Well, Yui and I got to cover the red carpet. So while y'all were eating Whataburger, we were meeting Coleman Domingo and Andrew Rannells and Nick Kroll. Y'all will hear that interview in a little bit. But yeah, let's just go around and talk about our general experience, and then just any advice you would have for folks that might be considering going to South by Southwest, because you can buy tickets, folks, if you're not an accredited film critic like this squad here. Yeah. So Justin, we'll start with you, and then we'll go around.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I also enjoy the city of Austin, so that definitely helps. Some of my like one thing, if you're going to South by Southwest, I think that for sure you need to get there. Whatever you want to see, get there early.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah, you need to get there. Like, it's an Austin.
Yeah, you
need to get there. You need to be there.
No, actually, I mean, you do need to get there,
yes,
because you can do some online viewings as well.
Yes.
Yes.
But you need to get there. You need to get there early so you can get an opportunity to actually see things.
Yes,
because the lines get crazy. So like whatever you want to see, you have to be like, okay, let's jump in line 2 hours ahead to just make sure that you can secure your spot. I would definitely use your express pass on the films
if
that
you can use it.
Truly
You
into.
can get them.
Yeah, they were
get
selling out fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
Lluvia, what about you?
I had a great time. I saw a lot of things that I really made the time for. I put in that dedication. The longest thing I waited for without getting the express pass, because I only got one, which was Conan O'Brien's panel, which I loved. I waited 3.5 hours for the Fall Guy, and I got in, but I was dedicated.
Weren't you the last? You say you were the last person in, right?
That was for Monkey Man.
Oh, okay.
And I waited 2.5 hours for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
2.5, not even 2.
I know, that's what I'm saying. She used the decimals.
I timed it. I was like, what exactly do I need to do? But it was worth it. It was very well worth it. I had sunblock on and a beach towel to sit on. My knees were hurting for sure at one point.
Oh, wow. Yeah, my legs hurt after standing in line for Y2K. But we'll get to that. Tati, what about you?
I would say definitely, take a beat to plan at what you can. They do release a schedule to an extent, obviously things are subject to change. Locations aren't always outlined significantly ahead of time. Do come in with some sort of game plan with what you want to do with the information you have day by day. It's so easy to burn out. And also, the reason why I say that is because you might want to take advantage of the shuttles.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first time we actually took the shuttles. That was fun.
And so for me, there was one day where I went to see a documentary and Jerrod Carmichael's reality show. And they just happened to be in the same theater, but I didn't plan that. And I was stressing the whole time, oh my gosh, how am I going to get from the documentary to this? I have there was a little bit of time in between, but I know like lines get so crazy, and I just was like, oh, like read, Tatiana. It's in the same space. So at least there I had a breath of fresh air. But it's so easy to like chase your own tail sometimes, and you're like leaving one building to go to another. And it's like better planning probably could have avoided that.
Yeah. I mean, I greatly enjoyed it. I'm looking forward. I liked it. I liked the options they had. There's always something to do. Whether like if you don't make it to a screening, like you can go to like a panel or a podcast. I mean, just me getting to see some cool movies as well as like go to like one of my most recent favorite podcasts. With Scott Galloway, Kara Swisher, like that was awesome. I know you guys got to go to Conan O'Brien's podcast, like just getting stuff like that. And then also like there were just stars around just hanging out. So like for instance, like when I said we met Coleman Domingo, he was just hanging out, like ready for his premiere to wrap up. Like he was just sitting next to us, right? I ran by Benjamin McKenzie again from fucking the OC.
The OC.
Ryan Atwood. I saw him again at South by Southwest. And so it's like it's a lot of fun. Everyone's correct in getting there early, like with the lines. We were in the longest line we were in was for Y2K. That was 2.5 hours. But still really good time. Wish we'd stayed there the whole festival. I think that's the plan for next year. But let's talk about some movies. Lluvia, you saw some of the big bangers, so I think you saw some of the titles that people probably want to hear about the most.
Oh my God. I saw all the big bangers. I saw Arcadian. I saw The Fall Guy. I saw Monkey Man. And then we also got to caught I Don't Understand You, which was also a big hit. I thoroughly enjoyed all of them. Arcadian was probably my least favorite one, but it was still good. Horror, apocalyptic world. I don't do horror movies, but I definitely wanted to catch Nick Cage. And it was a great experience, especially with the South by Southwest audience. They get really into the movies. And I give it a small because the world was very interesting, but it wasn't built up that well. Neither was the character development. At one point, Nick Cage, I almost forgot he was part of the movie, but the cast
that happens all the time.
The classic Nick Cage. But the cast was young. They very much did an excellent job. The creature was like actually it had some jump scares, a little scary at times, but they didn't do it enough. And I had a lot more questions about the movie afterwards because I didn't get a lot of answers, but it was a small popcorn kind of movie. But the one right after that, I had to go wait in line immediately after getting a bite to eat was Monkey Man, which was huge, like demand for it, like, which is amazing because it is a huge Indian cast. There is that demand for the minority films, which is amazing. I loved it. I give it a large popcorn.
Is it as action heavy as the trailer made it seem, or is it a little bit more dramatic?
It's a little bit more dramatic. There is a plot. There's less guns fighting in it as well. Like there's more knives because Dev Patel did say in his panel that he preferred knives over guns. But overall, it was really good. It had a really interesting shots as well and cinematography that I very loved. It was beautiful. I cannot wait to see it again in a real theater setting because since I was one of the last few people let in, I did not have the best seats, and the sound quality way up top in the theater wasn't the best. So, but
was that the Paramount?
Yeah, it was at the Paramount. All these movies were at the Paramount. So,
that's an intense theater.
Very intense.
Yeah, it's like a classic theater, but it's like stadium seating, but it's so steep in a way, and they need to also renovate it. But I get why they don't want to do that. That's a huge
historic.
It's historic. You don't want to lose that. Though I will say, I really wish they would fix the seats.
Yeah.
That's like up top.
Yeah, up top. The seats. Yeah. One of the seats I sat in when we were for Y2K, the spring clearly has like, shot through. So I sat down. Y'all know I'm 4'11", and I sat down and I literally sunk an extra like 3 to 4 inches. I was like, no,
no.
But we're here, we're set. But I think if that's like the one thing, I say about that experience being better.
Yes. Yes, definitely agree. I barely had space. When I was sitting up top, I'd end up downstairs somehow. I found
She
my
downstairs.
ways.
And then you watched Fall Guy, right?
I did. I did. That one is probably my favorite movie I caught, actually. It
Interesting.
is worth it. Oh my God, everybody has to see it. I love the cast. They had great chemistry, especially Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. It was definitely a love letter to stunt, like, actors out in Hollywood. Great
Awesome.
action, great comedy, fun time.
What I say, I'm Ryan Gosling and I did almost none of my own stunts in this movie. True, but he's done a lot. No, let me just say, look out for this. There's Logan Holiday. Are you in the audience? Where's Logan? Logan's right here. Logan broke the Guinness World Record for most canon roles in a film in this movie. 8.5 rolls. 8.5 rolls.
Can't say more than enough things about it that it's just really great. Large popcorn with extra butter.
Oh,
Loved
wow.
it. Loved
Okay.
it. Loved it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've
So,
heard great things about it.
oh yeah, it's a must watch for sure. So I loved all of them, and then we caught I Don't Understand You. You caught it more than I did because I had to use the restroom plenty of times.
Yeah,
But I
but
love that one too.
yeah, I Don't Understand You is about a gay couple that's in rural Italy celebrating their anniversary right before they potentially are going to be adopting a kid, and it just goes off the rails. It's incredibly insane. Nick Kroll and Andrew Rannells star in it, and it's directed by these two gentlemen. One of them was a College Humor alum, so we kind of bonded on that. It's solid. It's just I don't want to ruin it. The only thing it's like Very Bad Things, which is a movie with Christian Slater that came out in like 2000. The only thing is, and Lluvia and I talked about this after the screening, is that the moral of the story is a bit unclear, and like you're kind of like, I'm not sure if the creative team saw like how this could look like for a person of color, like watching this movie.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's still really funny. It's like it was incredibly risky and wild, and it's quick. It's like an hour and a half. So
Yes.
if it
Probably
comes,
the shortest movie I saw there.
yeah, if it comes your way, folks, I would definitely recommend seeing it. I'd probably give it a medium, borderlining on a small, personally. But yeah, it was still fun to get to meet the cast and like and talk to the creators and stuff like that.
Yeah. We got to sit next to Nick Kroll and Andrew Reynolds.
That's
and
right.
it was fun actually watching the movie right next to him because there would be like nothing on the screen like really going on, and you just hear Nick Kroll like giggle
Yeah.
for no reason. It was pretty fun.
You did? How does this movie fit into your journey as a creative, as an actor, as a comedian?
It had been a while since I had been, in a movie beginning, middle, and end, and really because like me and Andrew are in, obviously, like a couple where 95% of the scenes together.
How does this film kind of fit into your journey as a creative, as an actor, and what do you hope to do next?
Well, there's no singing and dancing in this, so this is a little different. And there's, murder, which I don't normally do.
What are you working on next?
I'm actually producing Scrolls and right now. In New York shooting. I'm here over the weekend. It's working really great. We wrapped in 2 weeks.
So Justin, what movies did you see?
First of all, I saw Azrael.
Okay.
Azrael was at
Samara Weaving, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. We got to see all these movies with most of the talent.
Yeah, the talent. So the talent was there for that one. And,
I was so mad when you told me that she was there.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. She's a really, really pretty girl. She seems to have a great personality, and
Yeah,
just,
she's Australian. She seems fun.
Yeah. It was just cool to see it, and also hearing a little bit behind the making of this movie because the producers were there as well, the director, and how they kind of
producer.
How they actually got. As a producer, they talked about how the process of actually writing this movie and getting it made, which was actually pretty cool. But seeing the movie itself, it was a ride. It was a ride to say the least, but a good.
What
one.
was yours about? What was Azrael about?
So it's kind of post-apocalyptic.
Okay.
There's not a lot of people left. It's after the oh my God, end of the world. Christ comes down, takes people up. I forgot
The rapture.
Yeah, rapture. Thank you. It's after the rapture, and the people left over actually for something they can't speak. So a lot of this movies, a lot of it is silent, and then there's these creatures that be fucking people up. There's these creatures that be fucking people up, but it seems like there's a group that's sacrificing people to these creatures.
Okay.
I don't want to give away too much, but things get wild, and yeah, it's if you like gore, it's gonna give you all the gore that you want and need. There's some great stunts, some great I guess prosthetics and gore that they use within the movie. But all in all, just overall, like I really enjoyed it. And for a horror film, I think it's a horror, but it's not like, I'd say it's more of like a thriller.
Okay.
It's like a horror thriller. But yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I would definitely take a look at this one when it hits theaters, hopefully sometime soon.
So what would your rating be?
I would give this one a large.
Okay.
I give it a large right out the gate. I mean, yeah, the world that they build, and then also, having a film with very, very little dialogue. I don't want to ruin anything, so I'm not going to say about the only dialogue that you get in it. There's a lot of tension. Okay. It's intense, almost from almost 5 minutes in, the intensity's shot, just cranked up all the way.
Like it, I hate comparing movies like this, but is it like similar to A Quiet Place?
No, not like that.
Okay.
Not like that, because The Quiet isn't necessarily a tool for the film, but The Quiet is. It's just the happenstance of like this world.
Okay.
But like, there's still sticks and shit like that. There's explosions and all sorts of shit. But that doesn't
Sticks and explosions.
No, because in A Quiet Place, you step on a stick.
Oh yeah,
you fucking yeah. But it's a really cool movie. I actually think that you would enjoy it, Brandon.
Okay.
I think that you'd really enjoy it.
I don't know if Justin actually believes it or he just wants to see me freak
No.
out.
No. I honestly think that you would really enjoy it.
Okay. All right.
Is there a lot of gore scenes?
Well, that's what he said. It's like he said it's like heavily on the gore.
Yeah. Yes and no. But like when it's gory, we gory. It's gory. They go there, but like I think you'd really like it. Okay. I think you'd really like it.
What else did you say?
I also I caught Conan O'Brien with Lluvia, about his new show that he has coming out, which it was moderated by Nick Kroll, and nice. That was a great watch because Conan O'Brien's Conan O'Brien. But just him and the Nick Kroll dynamic is just hilarious. But going over his new show, which is about Conan's traveling around and everything. We only saw clips. We didn't see the full thing. I'm actually excited to kind of see it in full. Yeah. Because I know it was actually the idea was spawned off of contact with someone in Finland. So it's but it's an interesting show. Okay. And I'm looking forward to that. And then there's also Roadhouse. That Roadhouse.
We'll be doing a full review.
Yeah, we'll be doing a full review, so we're gonna keep it nice and light here. But Roadhouse, I'd say that like Jake Gyllenhaal gives a really good performance.
Okay.
Jake Gyllenhaal gives a really good performance. Arturo Castro, he does a great job in it. Like he really he inserts a little bit of comedy into the film, like just at the right points where you need it. Like his characters just gives you enough. Yeah. Conor McGregor is Conor McGregor.
Hey, guy gonna look at me walking like a pot pie. That's what I always hear in my head when I see Conor McGregor walking, because he does the little Irish strut thing with his arms out.
No, he looks like he has to take a shit. Yeah,
he could be doing both. I always thought Popeye would probably have to shit a lot. He eats nothing but greens. He eats nothing but greens and smokes tobacco. His immune system is not doing well.
He's shitting out fucking bricks. They're coming out little.
So what else did you?
So I guess with that one, I would give. I'm not gonna rate.
Yeah, you're gonna save your rating.
You're gonna save the rating. Little teaser. And then we did. And I went to a bunch of like different talks. And things like that. Also one thing with South by Southwest, they have the area where you can kind of, it's like
The convention center?
Yeah, the convention.
The expo.
Yeah, the expo. Check out the expo. There's a lot of cool little things going on in there, and I think a lot of people just skip over it because so much other things happening.
A lot of free booze, y'all.
Yeah.
I feel like they also didn't really promote it as well, or you don't really see signage for the expo.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't until we were walking back from, was it our interview with one of our talents that we have there? That you're like, oh, let's check this place out, because that's where you got your headshot.
Yeah, well, I already checked it out before before the interview, but then I came, I circled back with you because I was like, you get your headshot, then they get free headshots there.
Yeah,
guys.
it's great quality.
Yeah. I did a bunch of like different meetups and things like that. Had a meeting with like actors, filmmakers, and like the casting department from Netflix was there, and you got a little bit of insight onto their casting process and how everything, because the Netflix casting department is fairly new compared to the rest of the industry, but it's there's a lot of things going on at South by Southwest.
Yeah, we saw a comedy show. Well, you two saw a comedy show, and then we saw comedy.
We saw an official South by Southwest comedy show. We actually opened it with our friends at the Creek in the Cave.
That's right. Down in Austin now.
Down in Austin now, and that was a lot of fun to do with Justin and I. It's interesting because I think we have very similar comedic like sensibilities and. And
yeah, because Tati and I literally cracked up at the same exact thing.
and always when nobody else was laughing, so we were like, "Oh no, we're those people."
Well, and one of the comics made, oh my God. The Jewish joke.
The Israel-Palestine joke.
Yeah, holy crap. And it was so good. But like the rest, I think also because we're from New York, it's different. Mm-hmm. But like it seemed like everybody else, their buttholes just tightened up.
Oh.
And Justin and I let out a ha.
and I feel like he also appreciated it.
Austin feels like it's very interesting right now because after the comedy show that we went to, and reflecting on like when I popped into Creek in the Cave trying to talk to Rebecca, the owner, right? It feels like in Austin, there's like the social justice warrior people that like don't have the diversity to understand like what they actually can laugh at, what's okay to laugh at, because they don't. It's very weird. Like every audience I saw was very tight.
Yeah,
down there.
I mean, I think that it's also, proven for like their diversity. I think one of the big things we noticed about the audience we were sitting in, one, it was a fairly early show, probably around 7 p.m.
Yeah.
I want to be generous.
It was kind of an older crowd.
And it was a little bit older, and I don't know where they're from. So, I can't speculate during a huge convention like this one. But a lot of the comics or the comedians are New York based. Mm-hmm. So when you have New York based, like we know the comedy scene out here is a little more like sassy, and I think they're a little more daring in the jokes that they would tell. Yeah. Where after living in California for a year, the jokes out there were like very safe, and very much about like getting high and like this whole like wellness living, and it's appropriate for the area. But like I probably barely laughed in comedy shows in California. In the South by Southwest show, I think that we were laughing significantly at just like jokes we normally would have laughed at here in New York.
Yep.
And then we went to Ambush show. Mm-hmm. That was not affiliated with South by Southwest.
Yeah, and that was a weird one because no one was really laughing. No one really knew it was a comedy show. The stage wasn't set up right, and then the comedians started getting mad at the audience. One guy, they gave him like a 20-minute set. It felt like he was trying to record his Netflix special, and no one knew. And it was just not great. But
and it turned into him just literally yelling at me.
that's when we left. We were like, all right, we got
that time.
So if I had to give like another warning, it would be like, there obviously Austin is a city and other businesses are going to capitalize on South by Southwest. And some of it is just gimmicky promoting and they're just like using the letters. Some of them, like I genuinely believe that some of these comedians thought that they were performing at South by Southwest.
Yeah, it was like the actors that signed up for the Marvel Sony movies.
Yeah.
Thinking they're in the MCU.
I'm going to be with Robert Downey Jr. at some point. Like, no, you're not.
They're like, I'm so proud to be part of the cinematic universe. You're like, oh no, sweetie, that's not what happened here.
No. That's not this.
So they kept on
Poor
saying,
Tyrese.
They kept on saying like, "What's up, South by Southwest? So happy to be here." We were like, "Oh no, oh my heart."
So you know what? Full disclosure, I got guys. I got because I went to an actor, a filmmaker meetup and things like that, which was official South by Southwest. Mm-hmm. But then there was a guy there who's like, hey, we're having a meetup, we have producers and such, and it's handing out cards. And like the crazy thing is, during the actual meetup with execs from Netflix, a room full of actors, this guy's like, hey, I'm an agent with an agency. We're looking for people. We're doing a thing. Is like, so like we can be the bridge between you and like a casting department. And he stood up and introduced. Everybody's like, oh yeah. And then the people from Netflix like, yeah, well, this is probably somebody you guys should talk to and yada yada yada. So the guy, was like, hey, you should come down. Da, da, da. I'm like, yeah, I'll stop by, and then ambush show. I was like, son of a bitch, son of a bitch.
What's wild about that story is I just realized you probably couldn't even verify that he was an agent. He probably was a comedian pretending to be an agent to get reps there.
No, I know who he was.
Oh, okay.
I saw him in the room. He definitely wasn't a comic.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't a comic. He is an older guy. He was.
We'll talk offline. I think I might have known who that was.
Yeah.
So
anyways,
all of that to say, like if you are going to participate in all the things Austin does offer during South by Southwest, because not everything is affiliated, and that's okay. Perfectly fine. One of my favorite spots I went to had nothing to do with South by Southwest. Yep. Went there for lunch, took my dad and my brother there for dinner. Beautiful views of the city. Super polite staff, all the fun stuff.
Yeah, everyone's nice down there.
Yeah, and so I think that's like one thing is just be mindful if you're there with like a specific goal in mind, to be mindful of like what you're participating in and what you're planning on, because once things kind of like go off the strip or of like you're kind of in no man's land a little bit, and so it's hard to really take it in.
Good luck.
Yeah, or if you're not really paying attention and you have a bad experience, then you start associating that with the festival when it's not the appropriate connection.
Yeah.
And what movies did you watch?
Oh, who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear my name.
Sean time, Tati, Sean
You're
time.
already talking, Tati.
So yeah, we talked about the comedy show, and now I'm like lost my place in line. So Brandon and I actually saw MoviePass Movie Crash.
Yes.
And that I found myself watching a lot of documentary or like very like reality expose type movies this time around, which is super interesting. It's not really what I go for, but it's what I was in half the time. And so, Brandon and I were huge fans of MoviePass when it came out.
Yeah.
I think I shredded my card, and now I heard it's like worth a buku dollars.
Yeah, in the documentary, they're like, oh, that's worth something, right? And
I was like,
when the dude's just like, I'm gonna put this bitch on eBay tonight, like,
ooh.
Yeah.
So we learned.
I wonder if my sub mine.
We learned so much that I had no idea. And it's so weird because I think the sentiment of the documentary MoviePass Movie Crash is very much about these co-founders who you actually never really heard the story of, because when MoviePass really started taking off, 2 white people became the face. Yep. When really the founders were 2 black men who had very good intentions about revitalizing the theater industry, because streaming had kind of tanked it.
And one of them was in the audience with us. I was watching him the corner of my eye, like kind of his reactions, because financially, MoviePass did not do well, so he was that was a consequence for him in some respects. So.
Yeah. So it's it's the rise and fall of MoviePass, and it's so weird because in the documentary they talk about how the first like subscribers of MoviePass really felt this culture and this like energy, right? Then fueled it. And then when things started getting a little rocky, and I was like, we felt really proud to be part of MoviePass when it was in its heyday and doing really well with the two co-founders. And then we jumped ship and we didn't even know about all the shit that was going on. So I was like, man, we canceled those subscriptions just in time before they tanked that bitch. So we have very good experience with it, but like, it's really sad and disheartening to see what transpires. But still very hopeful, right? And so these two men are incredibly like smart and super entrepreneurial. Like this isn't the only, it wasn't a flash in a pan type thing. They had been successful before and they are still successful now. But as moviegoers, it was actually super interesting to just like see this thing that was really like, oh shit. Like, so there's that. And then throughout my experience, I found myself watching A King Like Me, which is another documentary. Sorry,
What did you rate the MoviePass?
Or I didn't know if we were gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So MoviePass Movie Crash. I would definitely give it a large. Ooh. There were times where I was like super happy and laughing, and times where I was a little emotional. And so I would definitely give it a large, and I would encourage everyone to go, watch it whenever it becomes available for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely give it a large too. I think it's produced by HBO Films, and so I think it will be probably on HBO Max at some point.
Yes.
But it's such an interesting story. I kind of want to get Stacy. I'm blanking on his last name. I think it's Stykes or something like that. I want to get him on Drunk Black History. Like he has. It's a really important story I think people need to hear because you would not think that two black men are the ones that founded MoviePass.
And that's something that's echoed all across every industry where black people create something and then it gets hijacked.
And because it's directed by a black director, I think they were able to kind of focus on that in a very effective way.
Yeah. For sure.
What else did you see?
Yeah, so A King Like Me is a little similar in the tone of the Zulu crew down in New Orleans. And so they talk about their history. So they are a social and pleasure club, which sounds very suggestive, but pretty much
I like pleasure.
It's a social club for black men in New Orleans, and they are plagued with their, historical beginnings. And part of that is they do blackface during Mardi Gras.
Oh, shit.
And so they talk about all the good that the social club does and how they're such a staple in the community. And then kind of like this one thing that just, continues on, which is like, do they continue doing blackface or not? And that juxtaposition of like the history and the meaning behind how the social club was started and why they do blackface versus where they are now in modern times. And like, so I think that is super important. That's also by a black director, first time directing. And that was, I think, super important culturally because we all know New Orleans has its own culture. Yep. And so being very respectful of that, I think the director who's from Brooklyn, New York, recognizing like this isn't my space, but I still want to treat it with kindness and respect. And so that was super interesting sitting on that Q&A and how they are trying to introduce like sister organizations because it can't just be all about the men. And we also know like New Orleans has a tumultuous history, not just like racially and through like discrimination, but like housing and all of these things. So they just talk about like the whole socioeconomic piece of it. So I would say for A King Like Me, I would give it a medium. And I do think it needs a little bit of refinement, and I think that they know that because we were the first audience to see it, truly. And they had mentioned it had just finished editing like the week before.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're gonna take it and sort of like, you know, polish it up. So hopefully, if it does get picked up and distributed, it might be a slightly different documentary than what I saw. But there's so much I did not know about, this, and so I think overall, I think if the goal is to educate, I was educated, and now I know a little bit more, and I feel pretty good about recommending it if I had to. And then I think the last major thing I saw that I can really give a rating for would be the Jerrod Carmichael reality show, which we saw 3 full episodes. And this is essentially like on the heels of his special Rothaniel, where he comes out as gay, and kind of like what that meant for him and his family and the fallout and sort of like the tumultuous relationship he now has with his family. Yeah. And so he talks about he feels really comfortable doing this on camera because it holds him accountable. So he starts like approaching people in his life. He starts reflecting on things, how he wants to be in a relationship, but he can't stay faithful. And they like legitimately show Jerrod Carmichael like cruising on Grindr. He talks about, falling in love with his best friend. They show everything leading up to him winning an Emmy. Like all of these things and how like he's like navigating through this new space and still dealing with like issues and trauma from his childhood and whatnot, and being a gay man, an openly gay man later on in life.
Hi, thank you. You described one of your jokes and you said that wasn't for the audience, it was for you. Yeah. If there was a sentence that you could give the viewers or your audience about your reality show, what would it be?
Oh my God. Oh, that's so hard. Because like, boyfriend's right here. Sentences are really important to him. Oh man, that's really, really hard. I'll just say it because it's the first thing that came to mind. I tried.
Thank you.
That's I always found that to be super interesting when somebody, comes out, amongst them actually being famous at that point is like their whole life and the whole world view of them completely changes and just navigating the world now because everything is different. Everyone treats you differently. You have a whole new, a lot of people who are now kind of just like clued in on you. That just must be like just nuts that, that like think about like George Michael.
Yeah.
Obviously his outing wasn't, as nice as other people who have come out on their own. But just imagine how much that shifted his entire life afterwards. It's just super, super interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And Jerrod Carmichael actually talks about it, right? He was like, I lived in secret for so long. He was like, so there's one thing when you do things in secret. He was like, and then obviously he had this public persona where he's like talking about hitting on women and like liking women and all this stuff. He goes like, not entirely a lie. He goes, but as he talks about, he was like, people forget like I may be this age numerically. He goes, but as a gay man, he's like, technically I'm 17 years old. Yeah. He was like, because I couldn't have open relationships. So he was like, he couldn't be like live out loud. And so just having that sort of context as to like how he's navigating the world in a different space. And so it is super interesting. A lot of people who participated are very vocal on how they didn't want to participate. Yeah. And he was like, well, this is the only way I'm going to talk about this with you. So even like getting his family on board, getting some of his friends who happen to be, celebrities as well, some that are not. And there are others who genuinely were like, I don't want my identity shown. And they show them showing up in like disguises. They have like voice like distorters. And it's wild how that works. So I would say we did see 3 full episodes. I believe it's a 4-part series. I could be mistaken. And so I would say I am optimistically giving it a medium because I haven't seen the full thing, so I don't really, I can't
don't know how it wraps up.
I don't know how it wraps up, and I don't want to jump the gun. So there's potential for it to be a large, but I can't give it a full large knowing that I haven't seen all the episodes.
Yes.
All right. So Tati and I, we saw a movie called Y2K, which was co-written and directed by Kyle Mooney from SNL. If you've ever watched any of his video sketches, he's fucking nuts. And it's a teen comedy about these two guys. It's New Year's Eve, 1999, and all hell breaks loose with technology, like essentially turning against man and everything like that. It's very nostalgia heavy. So if you're a millennial, I think that with the millennial crowd, it's going to be a huge hit. The movie itself kind of falls apart per like most Kyle Mooney video sketches. Usually they have like a funny premise or some really funny bits, and then shit just falls apart for some reason. That's in line with his first feature film, unfortunately. It also, one of the co-leads is the kid from Deadpool 2, the New Zealand kid, who I just think is hilariously unfunny. He was
the big kid.
Yeah, he was decent, and he's bigger too. He's decent in this, but it's still like it was hard. It's so random because he's like this New Zealand kid in the middle of a suburb, like in 1999. Like I don't know, it was just odd. But the main kid is actually also the actor from It. He was like the lead young kid with the stutter and stuff. So it's fine. Rachel Zegler's in it, and she's a little bit miscast.
For a second, I thought you were about to say Dolezal. Like, whoa, boy.
You're like, whoa, she's playing a teenager? She's really taking this
She
far.
took some time off of OnlyFans.
But there's a very, very fun cameo that if you pay attention, you can see coming a mile away, but it's still really fun. And like I said, it's just so nostalgia heavy. Like, and it's used to great effect. I will say that, like, the whole 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, like, it opens with a dial-up to AOL, and then you get to instant messenger with, like, people entering, you hear the little door sound, the burning a CD, trying to download porn, it takes forever and shit. Like, all those things that were, like, just very, like, it warmed my heart a little bit.
Capsule.
It warmed your heart to see a nipple download pixel by pixel?
No. Well, I mean, that brought back some memories, but...
Save it on a floppy disk.
I think, roughness aside, I think it's going to be a huge hit, depending on if it's like on a streamer or if it's released theatrically. I think it'd be stupid not to release it theatrically, but I could also see it on Netflix easily. I'm unfortunately going to give it a small, just because some of the bits were really funny, and like the turn, because Kyle Mooney kind of plays it straight for the first 30 minutes or so. It's like just a straight teen kind of sex comedy. You're like, oh, but Kyle Mooney's fucking crazy. Like, what's okay, I guess he wanted to do it straight. And then there's a twist, and then you're like, oh, that's the Kyle Mooney shit. It's actually incredibly gory at times, which was surprising. But yeah, I'm giving it a small.
So I agree. I would give it a small because it's extremely predictable. Like after, like in the first act, you're like, oh, I know exactly what this movie is. But as a millennial, I can appreciate, like he said, the nostalgia, and also it is a quick movie. It's not, it's nothing you need to like really pay attention to. It's nothing prolific. It's just it's like, genuinely, as much as it's trying not to be, it is a feel good movie. At the end. But in any case, it definitely is a small for me too, because of that predictability. Like, and then of course it's very much like a karaoke theme night, right? There's like any time they can insert music, they do. Even if it's for 2.5 seconds, it's just to like get you in the mood of being in that space. So I would say that, if I had to think of like all the generations in my family, my mom would be like, this movie is dumb as fuck. Like, why was I watching it? I have my feelings. My sister would be like, oh my God, the Y2K era is just like so cringe. Like I just like very much like, is it something that's going to resonate with everyone? No. But I do think for a millennial and a Gen Z that is super nostalgic for that space, I could see it being super successful because of that.
Yeah, I will say, though, in regards to predictability, that turn at the end of the first act, though, does have a very, very surprising death. I will say that, but I don't think that it helps the movie. And so I think if we get to do a full review, we'll be able to talk about that a little bit more. But there was a death where I was like, oh shit, they went there. But then it's like, it doesn't really do anything from there. And even the third act, you're like, oh, it's kind of weird. Like I said, it falls apart. But
does it have a buyer? Is it going to be released?
No word yet. No word yet.
Okay.
I mean, it was so late we didn't stay around for the Q&A because Kyle Mooney came out at the beginning. So, and we got to see Rachel Zegler, and then before we went into the Paramount Theater. So the star, factor was already kind of gone by then. So yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out to see where it ends up. Now that I said it out loud, I do think it might end up on Netflix, just because they're that's where the teen comedies kind of go these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to do a full review with y'all and get your takes on it. But yeah, small.
Can we wear our best Y2K fashions?
Yeah.
We'll make it a theme night.
Yeah. We'll do it a Zoom movie night.
Let's break out the Jenko jeans, baby.
I used to have a lot of those.
I don't have any. I've never had them.
And then the last movie I saw at South by Southwest, which is actually my favorite movie, and just recently won the South by Southwest Award for Best Documentary, which was Grand Theft Hamlet, which is about these two struggling actors during the pandemic who were playing Grand Theft Auto online. They discovered an online venue that's like the Hollywood Bowl in L.A., and they're like, why don't we just put on a production of Hamlet on this thing? And it's like, it's all in the video game. It all takes place in the video game. And one of the actors, he has a family and shit, and he's neglecting them. The wife has to go into the game to engage with them and shit. And then they're trying to do auditions, and niggas just show up as avatars and just start shooting at them. They're like, "Hey, you here to audition for Hamlet? Oh, please don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Oh, I'm dead." And they have to respawn and go back to the venue and shit. But it's actually incredibly funny, but it's very endearing and full of heart, because it really does explore the loneliness a lot of people felt during the pandemic. And when a lot of people, when people were starting to get a little bit of traction, one of the actors gets a job, and then the two guys are like, I can't get a job. He's like, at least, one of them is like, you have a family. I'm just here by myself, and this is all I have. And it's incredibly, it's very real. And it kind of touches on stuff that you and I talk about that cinema has yet to really reckon with, the consequences of COVID. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not the thing that people are going to be rushing to the movie theater to see, but I think there's a reason why it's resonating with a lot of people. It's really dealing with grief and loneliness and
fear.
Us collectively dealing with this shit, but they do it in a creative way. And like I said, it's just funny, them trying to rehearse, and the background motherfuckers are going to war with each other. They have this one dude that isn't an actor, but during the rehearsals, he gets this fucking fighter jet and just shoots anyone that's distracting them in the background and shit. They're just oh, thanks for bringing the fighter jet to help us. And then the last thing I'll say is there's a scene where they're doing the play, and they have all these avatars watching them, the audience, and then the blip kind of fucks up, and they all die. So they have to tell all the audience members hey, so we all died, so let's all reconvene at this this theater. It's so stupid, but it gets XL. It was so good.
Wow.
It's so creative. I'm surprised that Rockstar signed off on it, but they probably saw it and were like, this is important.
They did.
I think so. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this could be.
How could they not?
This could be an Oscar contender. I'm not even joking.
Concerned about that.
I think the Academy might be too old or too out, limited in their thought to give this the accolades it deserves. But when I tell you, this is so good. This is really, really good. It's just, and again, it's
all in the game, right?
It's all in the game, and it actually shows you how beautiful that game could be.
Yeah.
There's some scenes where you're this is cinematically beautiful.
And
we're talking
Grand
about
Theft Auto.
Yeah, sorry.
The
Julia.
latest one.
The latest one, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Where it's the biggest selling media of all time right now. Wow.
And I didn't even know the online game was like this, and it's fucking awesome. And they did it. They you don't see the whole production or anything, but you see them working with people all over the globe trying to do this thing, and they even got the biggest Shakespeare theater to attend, and they got awards from them.
Wow.
Because they pulled off something during the pandemic when no one was able to do anything. It's really cool. I give all the props to the creators that got that off the ground. Yeah, and then Justin,
you were saying something.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying you were oh. So I don't play many video games, and I was Grand Theft Auto. This is the one where you get to beat up prostitutes and run people over for coins.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So there's always people running around just with guns and shooting shit, or like.
And then there's Hamlet being performed.
Yeah, and then they all have different avatars and stuff. But it's just so wild.
Wait, so I'm assuming then this is like this part where you can like connect to the internet
Yep.
and it's like a shared world.
Yeah.
with-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's an open world, so-
Online open world. Correct?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why like they can't like close off a space, so they're doing like rehearsals, and then people just go up to them, and start shooting them.
That's actually
And then-
really funny.
And then,
Yeah,
sometimes,
that's hilarious.
and then sometimes they're like rehearsing, and then like people will come and like fuck shit up, and then like cops will show up like in SWAT like helicopters, and they're like, "We're just trying to do a monologue, man." Like,
So then they have to run away from the cops.
there's several scenes where they have to run away. They're like, "Everyone go up the hill," and they still get got.
Don't shoot anybody. Don't shoot anybody.
Like
How
even
many characters are
there's
in
there's
this
a
world?
lot. There's a lot.
Oh
but
wow. Okay.
even the actor that's like, "Hey guys, like I love what you're doing, but I gotta quit." And he's like, "Oh, a train!" And like the avatar goes to the train. He's like, "Yeah, like I'll see you guys later." They're like, "Man, like, we just lost our actor," and then the dude just starts shooting them from the train as he's like going away. They're like, "Thanks for shooting us before you leave." And it's just like really quirky moments like that. That like, the audience loved it. Like, I think it has real potential to go somewhere at the end of the,
Get
for award
awards.
season. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Wow.
Well, I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, actually, I want to see that one
Yeah.
as well. When you were
I
telling
looked
me
it
about
over,
it, I was interested. I was like, okay, I can see that be fun.
Yeah.
So I actually forgot to put this one out there, but I also watched Hulu's Freaknik, The Greatest Party Never Told. So this is going to be premiering on Hulu March 21st. So basically, this is a story about Freaknik, the Atlanta party, the Atlanta party.
break.
Yeah, getting down.
The one thing I regret about my parents not banging sooner was that I missed Freaknik.
Yep.
Yeah. I would have totally been there.
Oh, 100%. I wanted to go, but it ended before.
Before we went to
yep.
college.
Yep.
Assholes.
Yep.
Should have
Get
been
it
young.
on sooner, damn it.
Should have
What
been
year?
younger teen parents.
What year would have that? What was
It
that?
ended 1999 was the last year.
Oh, wow.
1998 or 19, I think 1999.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
so this is the thing. There's been documentaries about Freaknik before, right? And everybody's just like, oh, you don't want to catch your mom and your daddy on on a video, the Freaknik video, or whatnot. But this one actually went more into depth about where Freaknik actually came from. So it was around since 1983.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
It was around since 1983. It was started by the HBCUs in the area in Atlanta, and it was basically just started out as a picnic. Because a lot of those black college students didn't have the money to go home, so they stayed in the area. So it's spring break. They're not going to Daytona because of course. You have all of these, Daytona Beach and all this other stuff. Yeah. That's where all the white kids went, and they didn't feel comfortable. Like when I was in college, I didn't feel comfortable going to those spaces because I knew I would have been a target.
Yeah.
And it just didn't seem like it was for me. But so basically, they went to start something for the black students. And it was just started as a picnic. The first one only had 50 people that showed up.
Okay,
and then. It grew on its own to the Freaknik that came about, which went into the 90s, and then obviously when things got off the rails, and then eventually it went down.
Did they talk about how many babies were created?
I don't think they would know.
I don't think they would know.
I don't think they take a census at the Freaknik.
It's like, and where'd you get that nut? Oh, Freaknik. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's not
even.
Why would you? Why would it be like?
That's
Oh,
a very interesting
Mom,
question.
why you call me Nick? Because he was conceived at the Freaknik.
A bunch of babies named Luke.
Yeah, like Uncle Luke is like a producer, right, or director.
Yeah, so
like
Uncle Luke, obviously with the name Freaknik, but so it was a picnic, and then they just put freak in front of it.
Yeah.
But that was actually after the song Le Freak.
Mm-hmm.
Freak Out, that song. So that's where it actually came from. Freak had nothing to do with anything.
Until
they just put that there just to brand it, make it like a cool thing.
Until someone showed up in booty shorts.
Well, no, it's so many years when Uncle Luke came, and then he's just like, "Yo, Freak is already in the name. I got to be a part of this." He actually filmed a video at the Freaknik, and then that just spread even more.
Got it.
So like, I actually had a conversation with the producers of Freaknik, and like I was saying to them, it's just like, it's crazy because like it feels like it was kind of tailor made for Uncle Luke. He's like, yeah, but it wasn't even about that at first, and it kind of just turned into that. But one of the things I said to them also is like, it kind of reminds me the rise of Facebook.
Yeah.
Because it started as just a college kids thing, and then word of mouth, it branched out, and then everybody was there. Yeah. And obviously, when everybody gets there, then everything gets a little wild.
Yep.
But it's a great documentary. You learn a lot about that, and also about the music. Kind of being attached to it and everything. I don't want to go in too in depth because
you do your own review on it.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing my own reviews and be coming out very soon. But I would definitely check it out. And like I said, I will give a review really soon. You'll see that on our YouTube page.
Nice.
Awesome. My friend, one of my really close friends, she went to Spelman and she met her husband he went to Morehouse. So I'm telling her about, possibility of us getting to see Freaknik at South by Southwest. And she was like, ooh, my daddy might be in one of those. I was like, before your mama or during?
Yeah, no.
She was like, I don't know. I was like, well, I mean, send me a picture of your daddy and I'll let you know what I see.
He's just surrounded by three women that dancing to Duty Brown.
I mean, we're all going to be able to
Duty
see
Brown?
it in Hulu.
Hold on, Duty Brown?
Doo-doo Brown.
Duty?
Dancing to Duty Brown.
The Duty Brown, is that what they called it in Michigan? Or in Ann Arbor? Because I'm pretty sure Detroit would have been
they would've known better.
negative.
So Lluvia, tell the people how they can follow you on the social medias.
You can follow me at @MakeItUvia_ in between all the words.
All right, and then Tatiana, how about you?
You can find me on Instagram at Boricua Collins.
Awesome info. Hope you enjoyed our festival recap, and hope you check out some of the movies that we recommended. I think you'll really, really enjoy them, and we will talk to you all soon.
Oh, wait, we forgot about the activation, the Fallout activation that we all attended
Oh,
together.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was day one. That's literally activity
one.
one,
Day
day
one.
one.
Hey,
Day
listen.
one.
Listen, it was a long trip, yo. It was a long trip. But, yeah, we got to go to Fallout Activation. And Walton Goggins from Righteous Gemstones was there, looking just like
Todd
Walton
Howard.
Goggins.
Baby Billy.
Yep.
Baby Bill.
He walks like that. He wore
He wore a
wore
cream
the
suit to a
justice suit.
Fallout.
It was great.
It was like, so Amazon Prime created an interactive experience
Oh yeah, that shit was nuts. I'm
where
pretty sure I saw myself.
do have to try and give some visuals. So they
Check out our
created
Instagram
an
posts.
interactive experience. We were invited before it opened to the public, and we got to participate. And
Felt like an episode of, the game Far Cry.
I will say, as someone who does not play video games, I was thoroughly confused by half the shit I was asked, and was genuinely asking them, like, "No, I know you have to do this as part of the gig." I was like, "But I really have no idea what you're talking about."
I'm lost.
I'm the only one that played that game. I didn't finish it, but I was the only one that got it. And I think that's why I scored that nice coffee bag of.
Yeah, you knew how to speak the language. All I
I knew how to
was
barter and everything.
I was asking for bottle caps. I was trying to scan items and maybe get more bottle caps. And then someone offered to give me some ass meat, and I politely
I ate
declined.
all the ass.
But Justin apparently loves eating ass.
Yep.
Yeah, it was beef jerky, everybody, in case you're confused, because Justin does like
I
eating
ate ass in public,
Well,
guys.
they were promoting it like the best ass in town.
Yeah,
Come
and
get some best ass right
And they
here.
had some cupcakes and some free
yeah.
drinks and this red drink that was actually really good. And then the actors were just batshit crazy. I'm pretty sure I accidentally sold myself for some bottle caps. I didn't realize that that's what the currency was. But the interface, if you do play the Fallout game, like the very retro computer font retro, that's part of the engagement. That was actually really cool. And then it was just fun interacting with like the actors and stuff like that. I was trying to like barter with them to get more bottle caps, and one dude was like talking about the Brotherhood. I was like, "Do you have any bottle caps I can get?" And he was just like, "Well, the Brotherhood." I was just like, "Just say no," and I walked away from it. Like, I just like, rude. I don't have time for this.
So rude. I think the thing that confused me the most, there's like one woman, and she's supposed to be like, like very stealthy, and like she might take your eye, be very careful, blah blah. And I was like, I mean, I'm from New York City. She ain't gonna take mine.
Where was this woman? I don't remember her. I remember the dentist.
Oh no, she was by the dentist, but she'd like pop up and disappear. She was playing like not 3-card Monty, but
the dice.
Yeah.
No, she was playing like the cups where she had like an eye under a cup, and she would like move it around.
Yeah, there's some weirdos. Like there's some people where you're like, are you part of the staff? Are you part of this?
Well, Brandon, you gotta tell about that guy.
Yeah, this one brother was wearing a staff outfit, a staff shirt, and Justin and I just walking trying to get a signed poster, and like we have our name tags for press and stuff, and this guy goes, "Brandon, you're not gonna make it." And I was like, "What the fuck? It's a Tuesday, man, or whatever." I'm like, "It's a Thursday, Friday." But still, there's no day of the week you want to hear that shit. And then a black bird flew by me, a real bird, y'all. It was a weird moment.
It like almost grazed Brandon's eye. Just wing. I was like.
Justin just starts laughing hysterically, and that's before he knew that guy said that cryptic shit to me.
Those black birds are like mad creepy down there, and they make like a weird noise, like a weird like.
Chittering.
Yeah, it's like like it's like really monkey like. I don't know. It was weird.
That was wild.
It freaked me out. But yeah,
did you see the zombie?
Wait.
Oh yeah, in the
corner.
Cage? Yeah.
Oh.
No. Yeah, it was a zombie. But yeah, we got to see a Fallout activation again, folks. Check out a Medium P podcast on Instagram and TikTok. You guys can see some of the footage of that event. But like I said, we had a great time as a team going down to South by Southwest. If you have an opportunity, we definitely recommend it. And
bye.
Peace.
Bye.
All we need is a stage. Medium popcorn. We are two ninjas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me. It's just a brand for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Who's the master? Well, that's your warning. And if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Butter in your ear. That's what you wanna hear. This is a podcast you want to listen to. You'll regret it, won't you? Won't you? You'll never forget it. Oh, you won't. You won't at all. We will do a Tubi movie. Dear God, a streamer like some others. We never forget it. But you'll regret it. Patreon.com, baby. Now don't try to cheat us, cause we'll find you. We'll cut you down like a tree, stomp you and stump you.